What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
All right, hey, we got an article from...
Is that one of your commandments that you're going to...
Yes, talk about yourself more often.
That's number 11.
Wait, I think I got that. I got that as
I
my
think you got
kids
that
would
wrong.
say. Dad, you talk too much. All righty, hey, from Brian Solis. Great blog out there. Interesting article, and we wanted to scoop it up and showcase what he wrote about here. It's the 10 commandments of content marketing. You know, it's hard to gauge or appreciate something so contextual about content marketing, right? But we do base our work sometimes on the measurement of the wrong things. You know, numbers don't reflect engagement. They really don't.
Right.
You know, they measure activity. They measure visits. They measure click paths into things, right? But that really doesn't matter too much at the moment. Campaigns are planned, executed, measured by outdated keyword performance indices. All these things that have to do with the metrics of content marketing, okay? A like isn't an opt-in, okay? Is it a reflection of a particular targeted community? An impression is not symbolic of a prospect that wants to engage with you. These are factors that are so far removed from the person that's actually reading the content. You know, I love metrics. I love measurements. Those are guidance factors.
Yeah.
But they are not the end all of focus of content marketing. They are where we can get some idea of flow, idea of acceptance, but it's that one-to-one relationship that actually is more important than the sheer numbers. So there are human beings on the other side of your content. I love this line. Now, there are frustrations, aspirations, and willing attention spans on the other side of the screen, and you need to engage them, you need to entertain them, yeah, and you also need to inspire them. Now, here's the thing: is that do you want to inspire the masses? Sure, if you can, right? But if you can inspire one person as opposed to non-inspiration of content, you know, if you're rolling out content just to get some clickbait, okay, it's the wrong attitude to take. If you can actually go after and create content that actually will speak to somebody and wherever they are in their path of decision making about a particular product or service or a particular philosophy, right? If you can actually reach them on a one-to-one basis, that's engagement. That's where you start creating brand loyalty. That's content marketing in a purest form. It's not mass. It's not mass appeal, but it absolutely can provide you benefits beyond just the push of content regularly. All right, so only 3 things matter as you develop your content strategy. That's relevance, resonance, and significance. Check this out. RRS, Doug. Relevance, resonance, and significance. Everything that you should do incorporates these 3 pillars of engagement, okay? So he actually put together this 10 commandments to kind of shake mediocrity out of the marketing ecosystem. How about this? So let's go through them real quick. Number 1, do not chase shiny objects. All right? So examples include newer channels like Periscope, Meerkat, Snapchat, all that. Okay? There's always going to be the next big thing.
I'm going to start ranting.
Yeah, there it is. All right. Instead, chase after your customers. Be where your customers need you to be or want you to be. All right? Got something there?
Well, the thing is sometimes the customers are there, you don't realize it. So sometimes these shiny things pop up, and the opportunity is that if you're the first one in the room before your competitors, you get that audience. And so I watch people like, you know, we were talking about Blab, BLAB.IM,
right? And
it's a video conferencing kind of community, and I can tell you, there's people that have already put the flag down. Joelcom has already started working on marketing on Blab and everything else, and he probably has one of the biggest followings on there. And so, so what he did was, by early adoption, he went went in there and kind of
made himself the thought leader.
Took
for
the
that.
space. Yeah. And so.
But that's not saying that that's his market. He just took the space, then they grabbed.
Well, you don't know.
You
right?
don't know.
And that's that's the problem is. So my thing is you can test a shiny object.
Sure.
And see whether it worked, or talk to an agency, right?
Yeah.
We jump after the shiny objects all the time because we want to educate our clients on whether we should go down that road or not.
Yeah. From an agency standpoint, right, you need to be able to flesh out whether or not that's relevant medium. Right. Yeah, I get that.
All right.
All righty. Let's see here. Number 2. Stop operating against a content marketing calendar.
Oh, yes. I love that one.
Content calendars make you think about quantity, not quality.
Yes.
Your consumers.
Amen.
There we go. Okay. All right. Number 3, refrain from exclusively following case studies of people doing great content, quote unquote. While they may be rock stars in their own markets or conferences, right, they don't have a relationship with your influencers, customers, or stakeholders in the same way that is unique to you.
Right.
Okay. Best practices for reaching these particular audiences are yours to figure out. Number 4, real quick. Don't you dare use technology to scale your stuff.
You're talking to a marketing tech guy here.
Yeah, I know. I knew this would get under your saddle here. Technology is forcing us into a trap of scale. Well, while we might preach one-to-one engagement, technology gets us away from that and back to the one-to-many broadcast model we always tend toward.
That's easy to say.
Yep.
But if you're a company and you have to sell 20,000 widgets.
Yep.
You've got to get quantity, and so you can't afford to work on it one at a time.
I think he would better be served if he said, don't suffer quality for quantity, and don't lose track of that relationship factor.
But we see it, right? We see the return on investment with a client that has a $100,000 profit per client, maybe it's an attorney or something like that, and then compare that to someone who, maybe they're a auto parts place, and they're making 20 cents per. The strategies have to be a lot different, and you have to go after the masses.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, don't suffer the quality.
Right.
Number 5. We're on 5.
We can keep going through marketing tech. We're good. This is good.
This is good stuff, huh? All right. Number 5, shift your views or impressions as metrics and instead track performance or outcomes. Everything in terms of media has traditionally been about consumption. In the social mobile era, it must instead be about sharing and action. Change perception or inspire behaviors. That's what you should be focusing on. Causing positive effect in your markets, moving people to mutually beneficial outcomes. That's interesting because he's really just trying to jettison every possible measurement. And how do you measure that change in perception?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask that question. Where's the factor? I mean, you can't read their thoughts. You can not really track everywhere that they go after they've left your engagement. I mean, content needs to be perception changing. That needs to be part of the top, middle, and bottom funnel perception.
Well, I just was speaking at the Sparks event.
Yep.
And I was you're
speaking at the Sparks event right now.
Yeah, and the presentation I did was your content sucks because it's exactly the way you want it.
That's beautiful.
And I didn't mean that in an insulting way to say you don't know how to write.
Yep.
But I did mean it that you're not writing for your audience. And so
we preach that all the time.
And so
absolutely.
So in this case, I think the carry away here is what we believe is important about our business, what we believe is important about, maybe we're about timeliness and reporting and everything else. Maybe the client isn't. Mm-hmm. Maybe the client is just dazzled by creativity,
right?
And so you have to be talking about how what your creativity is like too. Mm-hmm. And I do this. I have a hard time with this. When I talk about DK New Media, I talk very clear about marketing technology. We want to help marketing tech clients. That's what we do. Everything else. But the fact is that you've seen our work. We do brilliant research, white papers, everything else. We don't.
At least Jen does.
There you go. But we don't talk about that.
No,
And the fact is that there's a large audience out there that's exactly the service that they want. And so we're trying to do this ourselves.
You got to change.
You've got to have an array of content that speaks to creatives, factual people, people that like authority, people that are trusting.
Yep.
You've got to speak to all of them.
You almost need to give your own content the DISC assessment.
That's exactly, and that's where it came from. That's where,
very cool.
Yeah, it was Amy Woodall. I'll give her a shout out.
But, absolutely.
But that's exactly where it came from, was talking through that.
All right. Well, you know what? On the other side of the break, we're going to be talking more. We are continuing our list of top 10 commandments of content marketing from a blogger, was it Sozil, right?
Yeah, Brian Solis.
Yeah, Solis. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Whoops.
You know him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
He speaks a lot.
Does he?
He is on the circuit all the time. The thing that I like about him is, we're more technical and practical about implementing. He's one of those guys out in the forefront. He's thinking about what does this mean? What's next? Kind of that thought leadership stuff.
Cool.
So his stuff kind of just makes you think.
Yeah, well, it surely has today. We went through the last 5 of the commandments here of content marketing. So let's jump into number 6 here. Don't assume that you have one audience. And that's what we were talking about here. You have many different types of people that you may need to speak to, all of whom believe that they're special snowflakes. I like that.
Yep. Well, and this is where I'll grab a couple minutes. This is exactly what I was talking about at the Sparks event.
Yep.
So you've got people that love to read, but then you've got people that want to watch and listen.
Yep.
And it's a breakdown. It's a significant breakdown. So if you're not doing like podcasting or video, you are literally leaving, I'm going to estimate probably 30% right off the table, because they are not going to sit there and read a full blog post or your website or get through it.
But it goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
Not only the medium in which they want to, but they're also in different decision-making stages.
Well, that's where I'm going with this.
Sorry.
That's where I'm going.
All right.
And then the other one is nowadays is sharing, right? You have to write content that...
Who's sharing?
You want your audience to share because they have relevant networks of people.
That's right. And
so if you want your content to get widely distributed, you've got to do things in that content that make sure that it's shareable.
Yes, sir.
So you've got to have things in there that are tips, facts, value statements, primary research, secondary research, cause-related things, things that people are going to read it and they're going to go, oh, I got to let my network know about this.
Absolutely.
And then, decisions. I talked about it before, but some people base decisions just on facts, some of them on emotion, so you've got to reach both of those people. Persuasion, there's reciprocity, there's consensus, you've got to touch these things and talk about how the industry has assumed this is, the basis, and then people will buy into that, or, that you're an authority and you're an expert because of this, and that's why people should listen to you. And people listen to different, those things impact different people.
And you got to pay attention to that.
Yeah. And then we have our work-life balance. I tell people about, you go to buy a car. What do? You buy a car because of your family and everything else, but you also think about the ride to work. You also think about your gas mileage. You also think about even if you're buying a platform for work, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about, oh my gosh, does this mean I'm going to have to work 2 hours late every day for the next month implementing this thing?
That's right.
Because my family's going to kill me.
Yep.
And so I think we tend to work in this funnel when we're working on content. And he's dead on here. It's that people with the same exact demographic, same exact problem will decide 2 different ways.
Absolutely.
And they will decide totally different the way you would decide. And so if you keep writing the way you would fix the problem, the only people that you're connecting with are people exactly like you, which is probably a 1%,
And that's the myth, that everybody is just like you. And you've got to break that.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's special as snowflakes, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, number 7. And we'll be quick about this. Stop creating content for people who will approve it, like your CMO or your client.
Oh, thank God.
Or lawyers.
Or lawyers.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, remember that there are human beings on the other side of that screen, right? They also think they're specialist snowflakes, right? Treat them like it. Your job isn't to assume that you and your organization is special. Your job is to make everyone reach out to feel like they are the only person that you wanted to talk to that day.
Yeah.
That content needs to be unique, but you know what? One piece of content's not going to serve everybody.
Yep.
So you gotta take it a number of different ways. All right, we're going to continue our segment here. All right, jumping back into it for a couple key points here. We were talking about the 10 Commandments of content marketing, and we left off at 7. Let's jump into number 8. Stop reaching out to people only when you need them. This business is about relationships, right? That's what marketing is supposed to be all about. It's based on creating mutual value and earning reciprocity, okay? Yep. Don't try to tack on to people whenever you need to move a particular piece of content. Tough. It is, because that's the only time you actually look up and start looking around at who would be able to carry the water.
Yep.
Nobody's going to be willing to carry your water if they realize, and it's very.
If you're just using them.
If you're just using them, it's very, very easy to understand. And if you have a social brand out there, you can see whenever somebody's just trying to, tap you on the shoulder and get a little bit of scratching going on there.
Yep.
Number 9, you'd love this, Doug. Stop selling.
Yes.
Period. For every one time you sell, you should have at least 4 other pieces of content or moments of engagement that help, entertain, solve problems, or inspire people. Some call this the 4-1-1 approach. 4-1-1. There you are.
Yep.
Got to stop selling yourself, because it also comes down to this, is that you're trying to persuade all the time and sell people on, you are the solution, you are the solution. It's tough for a company to embrace, but maybe sometimes you're not the solution for that individual. And if you actually have that type of honesty, right, you could very well be able to increase that brand loyalty, that connection with with the audience. I mean, just be authentic, right? So last bit here is stop investing in mediumism. Contrary to popular belief, you are not a storyteller. That title is reserved for those who really care about the people they're trying to connect with, specific to the medium of engagement. Mass broadcasting across all forms of media is called spam. All right? It happens so often that he actually came up with a word to describe it, mediumism. So if you're using the medium, all the different mediums, and just to match your point there, Doug, is that people listen differently, right?
Yeah.
And if you're sending the same message, I mean, we know the various Facebook posting is not the same as a blog posting, is not the same as Instagram, and it shouldn't be treated as such, So there's the top 10 or the 10 commandments of content marketing, and I appreciate the indulgence there to truly do that justice. I think that was a good article from him, and go check out briansolis.com. He's got a lot of good stuff there. He's a sharp cookie, right?
Yeah. I would just, I'm going to reiterate too, though, right?
Yep.
That, some clients, some customers, some companies don't have that, 7% budget and the resources to, let's say, optimize a message for Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and everything else. And so you've got to do some brute force kind of stuff just to get the word out there. And are you doing more damage? Well, that's why you hire an agency to basically show you the reporting on whether you're hurting yourself or whether you're helping yourself. And I'm always just a big tester. I don't like rules.
Oh, you test me on a regular basis.
Yeah. And I feel like it's important to do the test. And I'll give you one. People told me on Twitter, if you're too noisy, people will unfollow you.
Yep.
On the Marketing Tech blog, I was doing probably 2 or 3 tweets a day. I started to do them once every 2 hours, and I got more followers. And then I started to do them once every hour, and I got more followers. My drop off, I did not drop off any traffic. Now I'm doing them every 30 minutes, and my account continues to grow faster than it ever has before.
Oh my gosh.
Every half hour I'm sharing a tweet about some of our content. And now it's all of value, right?
Right.
But nobody has said, "Oh my God, you're ridiculous. I can't follow this anymore." Right. And so that's the kind of thing is that people tend to talk about what works well for them and what doesn't work for them.
Certainly.
It's not necessarily what's going to work for you, and that's why you want to hire someone who can test and report on that.
you just can't go from the gut and try
Yeah.
it out and not have a way to measure it.
Yes.
And that's what you're saying is
Yes.
that you got to know how things are going to perform out there and have some sort of hypothesis.
Yes.
Okay. This is a scientific method. You really can apply that to what you're doing inside of content marketing. And if you have an expected result and you don't come toward, don't come close to it, then you change it, right? To
Yep.
be able to have that type of next expected result.
Yep.
Let's go over a few quick habits that are terrible for content marketers. You need to break them immediately. Very quickly. Bad habit number 1, trying to be trendy. Stop it. Stop it. Well, hey kids,
I can't help it though.
it's totally dope and super fly.
I can't believe you said that.
That's for my producer.
I want to see Aaron do the nay-nay, the whip it nay-nay.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Yeah, the no.
No, exactly. Don't try to be trendy. Be authentic, all right? And be consistent, but be authentic. Bad habit number 2, posting huge blocks of text. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah, it's boring.
It is boring, and you're not gonna get the eyes or the attention on that. You need to have well optimized writing. Number 3, chasing clicks. While clickbait can get you a quick surge of popularity, the internet hive mind quickly forgets you. Hive mind. That's creepy right there. Making content that delivers. That's the most important thing right there. A 4th habit there, posting the same content across different networks. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Don't say the same message twice. All the different listeners in different mediums have different ways they want to be heard. All right? Another one real quick, being overly promotional. All right? Don't be overly promotional. Don't, every piece of content we create is promotional in some sense, but don't overstake a particular piece of content to the betterment of all mankind. Last one, writing without personality, Doug. Do not write without personal touch and
Not a problem with me.
No, I know. You are overly personal, Doug. That's what we're trying to put you back in your seat. Write for people, by people. I mean, make sure that you're authentic. Make sure that you're getting the quality communication out there. All right. Thanks so much for listening to Edge of the Web.